Hello everyone, Dan14 Prime here. Today I want to check out with you guys the Transformers Takara Legends 62. This is Windblade, the fan-built city speaker. Comes with the Targetmaster Pointech or Pinpoint. I believe this would actually be the Autobot Crosshairs Targetmaster. I think that's the theme. We're going to get all the Autobot Targetmasters here with these next few Legends figures, though we don't actually get the figures themselves. So you can kind of match up with the Decepticon sets we're getting, but not quite because we don't have the lead figures. Typical deluxe pack up here from Takara, some nice artwork here. Again, of course, the Headmaster mechanism is in full effect. You can see the swords are different, look like they've been improved versus the Hasbro version. We'll, of course, get Hasbro in here and do a proper side-by-side comparison. Here you got the artwork there, Windblade and Pointech. Back of the box there, they kind of lay it all together. Jet mode, cool jet mode, the bot mode, the Targetmaster. It looks like one sword. And there's all the kind of the effects and different things in play action. And of course up top we get the kind of Titans Return Headmaster effect with the electrical thing, similar to Hasbro. So, pretty typical pack up from Takara. Let's pop her out of the box, check them out. As always here we get the nice Takara pamphlet with the cool artwork over here. And the product shots up there with the tech specs. Very skillful with the sword. And opens up into just kind of a couple page comic book. Nothing too crazy looks like it's going on there. And of course instructions inside. And here we have Windblade out of the box, up on the stand. Some pretty cool change-ups on the accessories. She's got this big clear sword. She's actually got a sheath for that sword that pegs into the hip, so that's cool. And of course, what I don't have in front of you yet is the Targetmaster as well. Again, not necessarily directly for her, but she comes with it, which is nice. Really nice colors. I mean, it's kind of just using the all red plastic, really, so in that regard, it doesn't look wildly different from Hasbro. There's that sheath. Check that out. That's cool. And then the sword there. Clear blade, unfortunately, but hopefully you can kind of see some of the outline of that. We'll take a closer look. So the red really still dominates the figure all the way around, which is largely the plastic. And then you just get some of the paint accents. You know, you can see it in the engines. You'll see it on the plane mode. And just little accents here and there in the bot mode. And I'd say a little bit of improvements on the Headmaster as well. Hasbro did a decent one, but whenever Hasbro does a decent one, it's good because that means Takara's got to even do it better to protect their reputation. So we get that here with this as well. That's kind of the overall spin of the figure there. Let's drop Hasbro in side by side and compare these two. So here they are side by side. Just to get them shoulder to shoulder, I've just taken a wing back a bit just to get them close. I usually like to do a bit of animation inspiration for the characters before we compare the toys. But again, Windblade, kind of a fan-built character from just several years ago, I'd say. So one of those Hasbro pull type things. You know, so her origin is coming from there. Fans created her. She's had a stint in IDW Comics, which I think has been popular as well. And then also in some of these kind of short Transformers series that are happening with Combiner Wars, where she's playing the city speaker role. So that's kind of where she's coming from. Here's the toys side by side. You can see just a lot of the similarity with the red across the board. Probably a bit different in shade. I think it shows up on camera a little bit. Takara's a little bit lighter. Hasbro's a bit darker. Just bring these figures in close in to see it. I mean, from a finish perspective, more of a gloss look for Takara, gloss red, gloss black, more matte for Hasbro. You can see then just a darker theme with Hasbro overall, darker blue, lighter blue. Much sharper Autobot logo there in the chest on Takara. It's there on Hasbro. It's just kind of, again, darker, and maybe just my print quality isn't too great. And then when you go down into the legs, really you get some blue accents here on the shin. And black, blue and black kind of accents there on the shin. Otherwise, pretty much the same down the leg. And then you pop back up to the arms. You've got some actually red accents, whereas Takara's all black there coming off the shoulder. Some different accenting on Takara top of the form there as well. And we'll see some of the plain stuff, but they've painted the inside of the turbine there versus all black for Hasbro. And there's some differences on the head paint as well, particularly around the edges that Takara's done up a bit better. So we'll take a closer look at that. But this is kind of the overview. I've kind of just dropped the swords there so we can kind of see a little bit better. Just as we spin around a bit here. You can already see here back of the leg a bit. We get some black accenting that Hasbro did not do. The plane will be a bit on the nose, but we'll get it in jet mode to really kind of see that best. On the wings, I'd say you got the same black outlining, but again, it's the white turbine that's different. Otherwise, not much on the back other than obviously the full calf effect. And then the sheath, whoops, hadn't pulled off the sheath yet, but that comes off as well. We'll take a closer look at the swords. So that's a bit of the overview comparison in bot mode. So here we are with the headmasters, Hasbro on the right, Takara on the left. You can take a look. Hasbro did a decent job. It looked good. Takara has stepped it up. I think the gold is better, kind of almost a copper on the crown. You get some better blue accenting kind of through the forehead and the eyebrows. I'd say the white faces with the red accents and the blue eyes looks the same. Then you get some of these blue accents around the cheek with Takara as well. So just a little bit of extra. Hasbro's was good. Takara's is great. Now if we fold them out, Takara just doing a bit more. You can see with the red and black theme through the forearms and the shins, and then blue eyes in the white face, whereas Hasbro just all black with the white face and eyes only. So again, just a bit more care with Takara, but both very good. Okay, so let's try and take a look at the swords here. Again, transparent, but you got two swords with Hasbro. These here, silver painted with kind of the yellow accents. Two of those, and they also plugged together like that if you liked. So it was actually pretty good. But Takara's done something a little bit more specific for the character. Not that these weren't specific, they were, but really kind of just a cool clear plastic blade. It's got the wind turbine effect in the hilt there, which is really cool. Just kind of a nice curve to that blade and just really looks like a sword. Grip's a bit odd. I mean, this is a round handle, so the hands are really molded to fit this. This is kind of a square handle, so the grip's kind of odd. You almost find yourself having to put it in sideways to get a grip in the hand, but you can get it to work. And then, of course, what you're getting then is the sheath as well, which can peg into the side of the hip right there on either side. And, of course, you can just kind of stow the blade like that. So that is a pretty cool feature. And then finally here we get the pinpoint or Pointech, all red Targetmaster with the black trim up the shins, which looks good. Silver face, kind of like red visor eyes, black hands, nicely painted. Looks good, kind of like a red barrel. I guess it's kind of like, it's either sort of colored translucent plastic or something like that. There's definitely a kind of translucence element to it. So if we want to fold this guy up into his gun, you just bring over the big turret piece, as we always do. Spin the shin pieces around there, so they're kind of backwards. And spin the whole waist, which turns his head around and puts the handle down. And you come on top, and he's got some pegs in his leg, which basically peg into his back right there. So we get that going. And then the arms just kind of come back to the side. That's all. There we go. Gun mode. Pretty straightforward. We've seen it a few times. I don't know. It's okay. It's not as nice looking as some of the other figures. I think when they've got like the silver paint and stuff that really pops. I mean, it's just the deco of this character. Red and black, a little plain. So not as sharp looking as some of the other Decepticon Target Masters that we've seen, in my opinion. And then here, just having the figure hold the gun. It's all right. I was a little bit worried about those kind of hands, which are meant for those Hasbro swords. But I'd say it's probably better for the Target Master than the Takara sword, because you get a nice round handle, and that works well in this hand. Then if we come back to Windblade to Transformer, it's this very popular mold, and it's simple, a retool of a very popular mold, right? So we're just going to kind of flip that down. The hips have this extension mechanism, so let's do that. Kind of flip forward the feet, and they're going to peg right here into the back. So getting this oftentimes is just a little bit the trick here, because the heels have to go into a certain spot and the feet will clip in. So making sure you're all the way extended. There you go. Get the click out. Help you fold those in nice. That's basically it. And then the hands just go right there under. And there's a peg for them to store away as well. That's all they do. So then there we have the plane. Pretty simple. So while I've got the plane here, there's a landing gear you can pull out as well. Pretty simple and easy. But then Targetmaster port up there on the above the canopy. And you can plug in the Targetmaster. Just like so, if you like. I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense. I think you can store the sword underneath as well, but just clunks it up quite a bit. So probably best to have those off. Okay, so we've got the planes here side by side, Takara on the left, Hasbro on the right. And again, all the difference is really up in the nose, which is quite a bit actually. You get this whole big white nose cone section all the way up to the cockpit. Cockpit over here, it's more clear, I would say, than yellow over there for Hasbro. Interestingly, even Hasbro had molded the Targetmaster port. I hadn't really noticed that before. Guess I wasn't paying much attention. So no mold differences. They're both carrying that. And I would say the wing accents, pretty consistent, save for the turbine color. And then some of the feet, kind of shin effect down here, pops through a bit at the very bottom of the jet. Just give you a bit of this from the side here so you can see it. Again, both have this like black trim up here, kind of on the side of the cockpit. Takara's got then black trim coming straight off the back of the cockpit, down into the yellow accent, down into the white nose cone. All that's kind of extra, whereas Hasbro's just got the black strip underneath the cockpit there. You can see underneath you got black versus nothing there, just sort of black nose cone for Hasbro. Big differences there. Takara painted all of the kind of windshield lining, I'll call it. And there's kind of some nice blue accent effect down there in the window as well. And just noticing, I mean, Takara's painted the whole hand, even the inside of the hand black. Hasbro, just the outside, the inside was still red. Then here from the front, just so you can see that coming at you. Again, you really see the turbine accents from this angle, the white versus the black. And again, just that nose cone from a different angle. Show it to you there from underneath, so you can see just the whole nose, black underneath into the white, versus just get a little black nub. So all that shows through. So it's nice, you know, it's some nice extra paint work, you know, makes it look more like her face, the nose of the plane, which is cool. But, you know, on the whole, not massively different decos. Just some good, nice detailing that Takara has done for us that Hasbro didn't. So there you have it, guys. Takara versus Hasbro Windblade. It's nice. I mean, the Takara figure is nice, but unless you're really a Windblade fan, I don't know that you'll spring for it. You know, slightly better deco and detailing in the, I call it cooler sword, and then the Targetmaster. The Targetmaster is kind of a head scratcher because it's cool, but unless you've got the Autobot, I believe Crosshairs to pair with it, you're kind of just hanging out with an incomplete set of Autobot Targetmasters with more still to come. So I don't know if you'd spring for that necessarily either. So kind of an odd pack up in that regard. And the Hasbro figure is pretty good already. So if you don't have a specific need for this Takara figure, you probably don't need to pick it up. But credit to Takara, they definitely do just improve it just a little bit. They just dial up those little knobs and fix all the little nice things, which makes it a very nice figure, a better figure. But certainly for the price differences in the US, you might not find it worth it. All right, guys, thanks for checking in. Check the links in the description below if you're picking up this figure or any Transformers figures. Check out my Amazon page. Any shopping you do through the links is appreciated and supports the channel at no cost to you. Follow me on Instagram. I'm always posting pics of a lot of these guys before the videos go up. Just starting out there, so look me up, Dana14 Prime, same handle. Any like, commenting, sharing, or subscribing you do helps to support the channel as well, so appreciate that. All right, guys, thanks for checking in. I'll see you next time.